Insect repellents. There have been found potential in regulating the pest population by several ways. These substances include repellents, attractants, anti-metabolites, feeding deterrents, hormones, insect growth regulators. Definition: repellents are substances that are mildly toxic or non-toxic to pests but prevent damage by causing the pests to make oriented movements away from the source. Repellents are more important in the protection of man and his animals from insect attack than the protection of plants. Since very early times, smoke from wood fires or agricultural waste fires being used to keep away biting and annoying insects in villages and suburban areas. Then, desirable traits in a good repellent: it should be effective for a very long time or a long time and on a wide range of insects. Weathering effects on it should be the least. Should not be toxic or irritating to man and animals. Should leave an acceptable odor, taste, and touch. Should be harmless to clothes. Should be cheap. While many repellents possess a significant degree of repellency to various insects, few meet all the requirements. Types of repellents. Repellents are broadly classified as physical and chemical repellents. Physical repellents, these produce repellents by physical means like contact stimuli repellents. These are substances such as dust granules, water, oils, leaf hairs, spines, and waxes that influence the surface texture of the plants to produce a disagreeable effect on the tactile sense of the insects. Then, auditory repellents. These employ sound to ward off insects. For instance, an amplified sound has been found effective in repelling mosquitoes, pyralid moths, and flies. Recorded vibrations of natural enemies such as supersonic vibrations of bat that predates upon cotton bollworm moths when replayed scare the pests away from the cotton field and thus act as an auditory or a threat for this. Barrier repellent substances such as tar oil painted as bands on trees and hedges, dusts on roadside trees, mosquito nets, wire meshing on doors and windows, or tightly developing plastic coverings over woolen clothes act as effective barrier repellents for insects. The visual repellents, while white light normally attract insects, but the yellow color light is the least attractive, so to some extent acts as a visual repellent. Then wayside shopkeepers utilize this during the post-rain season when the insect population suddenly goes up to become a nuisance. Then excitatory receptors, chemicals such as pyrethrum, DDT, BHC, etc., which excite the insect star cell, stimulating the sensory nerves and force them leave the threat surface, are called excitatory repellents. Barrier repellents such as tar oil painted as bands on trees and hedges, dusts on roadside trees, mosquito nests, wire meshing on doors and windows, and tightly enveloped plastic covering over woolen clothes act as effective barriers. And then excitatory repellents we mentioned. Then feeding repellents. Substances that inhibit feeding in insects are called feeding repellents or antifeedants. In chemical repellents, these are chemicals that affect tactile, olfactory, or gustatory receptors of insects, repellents of plant origin. Early chemical repellents were certain plant extracts having strong pungent odor that were rubbed on the skin or clothing, worn around the neck as a charm back, or hung from a raft. This practice led to the discovery of several essential oils such as the oil of citronella, oil of camphor, and cedarwood oil that have been used as insect repellents for a long time. The oil of citronella remained a commonly used mosquito repellent between the years 1901 and 1938 and still continues to be constituent of a popular brand commercial mosquito repellent, Odomos. That is made up of oil of citronella. Oil of camphor and cedarwood is also used. So this oil is extracted from the lemongrass and contains citronellol, citronellal, geraniol, boronol, and terpenes, on which the first two are regarded as the main repellent for mosquitoes. Pyrethrum is another plant product which not only acts as an insecticide but in low concentration also acts as a repellent for blood sucking insecticides. Synthetic repellents. So far we mentioned chemical repellents of plant origin particularly. Then synthetic repellents. Bordeaux mixture, which has been used as a plant fungicide since 1882, is the first synthetic chemical repellent. Early agriculturists observed that insects tended to avoid plants sprayed with this mixture. During the World War II, synthetic repellents were already in use by the soldiers. They are dimethyl phthalate, liquid general purpose, indolone, liquid effective for mosquitoes and flies, Redger 612, and the oil of citronella. The recently discovered best all-purpose repellent is diethyl toluamide. It protects against mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, and biting flies. Its resistance to rubbing gives it a long-lasting quality, and it can be applied in safely to skin and fabrics. Some important synthetic repellents: mosquito dimethyl phthalate, mosquitoes, flies, fleas, NN diethyl toluamide, ticks, fleas, N-butyl acetylate, cattle fleas, diacetyl phthalate, mites, benzyl benzoate. Repellents for different insects. For crawling insects, creosote lining acts as a barrier for the migrating insects. Then trichlorobenzene protects buildings against termites. Then tapes coated with bichlorides of mercury repel ants, and heavy oils painted on poultry roots check poultry mites. 4. Phytophagous insects. Bordeaux mixture has been found to repel leaf hoppers and cucumber beetle. Tetramethyl disulfide repels feeding by the Japanese beetle Poptilla japonica. 4. Diethyl triazino acetanilide acts as a repellent for a wider range of insects such as the cabbage looper, etc. For food feeders, pentachlorophenol and its sodium salts act as effective feeding deterrents to termites and the powder post beetle, Lactus, and Anobium. It is widely used as surface treatment or as pressure impregnator for the telephone poles and foundation timbers. Pentachlorophenol and its sodium salts. Soil treatment around foundations of buildings with 0.5% aldrin and dieldrin, 0.8% lindane, then 1.0% chlordane or 8% DDT in oil solution or water emulsion gives protection to the ground timber against termite attacks for over 5 years. These chemicals presumably act both as excito-repellents and soil poisons. For bloodsuckers, dimethyl phthalate, diethyl toluamide, and the oil of citronella, and some of the more effective repellents for mosquitoes and fleas. DEET and benzyl are good for outdoor workers to protect them against the mosquitoes, bag flies, and other biting flies, mites, and ticks. For fabric eaters, moths, and clothes, and carpet beetles cause an annual damage of $200 million in the USA alone. Therefore, moth proofing during the manufacture of fabrics become essential. This is done by mixing some chemicals such as odorless, colorless, non-volatile, stable to light, non-toxic, non-damaging, and wash-resistant in the fabrics during the drying operation. Two important products used for this purpose are Ulansien and Mitenef, trade names and that are applied as 1-3% of weight of the cloth. Dry cleaners also use aluminum salts such as sodium aluminum fluosilicate as 0.5 to 0.7% water solution, sodium fluosilicate 0.6%, potassium alum 0.3% or oxalic acid 0.03%, and naphthalene or mothballs are used as a routine repellent for the pests of woolen garments in our households. For OE position, pine tar oil diphenylamine rubbed on wounds or sites of oviposition detects many insects from laying eggs there. For bees, repellents have served two purposes in the bee industry: to drive the bees away from the honeycomb at the time of harvest, and first to other to drive them before the application of insecticides. Smoke has long been used to repel bees. It has a quietening effect on the bee so that the beekeeper can safely handle them. This may be an inherent reaction in bees which has evolved through centuries of exposure to forest fires. So phenols and more safer chemicals like propionic acid, benzaldehyde, acetic acid, and propionic anhydride are also used as repellents. Uses of repellents. They can be used on the body in some formulations to ward off insects. They can be used as fumigants to rid an enclosed area of insects. They can be used as dusts and sprays in domestic animals to protect them from noxious biting and blood-sucking insects. They can be used to drive insects from their natural breeding grounds or areas treated with insecticide or a chemosterilant to kill or sterilize them. There are several compounds, both natural and synthetic, used in insect pest management like essential oils, oils of citronella, eucalyptus, lemon leaves, peppermint, lavender, cedarwood oil, etc. Persons concerned about exposure to DEET use essential oils. The essential oils are considered safe to use in low dosage, but overall, then effectiveness is limited to less than a hour. DEET, N-N-diethyl M toluene. DEET is commonly used insect repellent worldwide. This is because most effective repellent against mosquitoes, ticks, and other batting insecto DEET was selected by the USDA and US military on the cheapest and economist against mosquitoes. Most effective against fleas, MGK 326. Para-dichlorobenzene and naphthalene. These two compounds are used in mothballs to repel cloth moths. A mixture of repellents, a mixture containing dimethyl phthalate 2-ethyl 1,3-hexadiol and methyl carbate in the proportion of 4:3:1 incorporated into various cream and lotions are applied to skin to repel mosquitoes and flies. A repellent containing benzyl benzoate and 2-butyl acetaldehyde and 2-butyl 2-ethyl 1,3-propanediol in equal proportions are used to impregnate clothing against mosquitoes, fleas, ticks, and chiggers. Smokers, smudges, and burning of pyrethroids are repellents measures of outdoors. Repellents against pests of livestock include low concentrations of pyrethrum, butoxy, polypropylene glycol, and butyl succinate borax mixture for chewing insects and leaf hoppers. It is made at different strengths for different purposes and prepared by mixing copper sulfate, hydrated lime, and water. Then creosote or coal tar. The creosote, coal tar, and other derivatives of coal tar like naphthalene and carbolic acid, etc., are successfully used as repellents to bugs, cloth moths, fleas, beetles, termites. These derivatives of coal tar can be mixed with soap and used as sprays. Advantages. The repellents have an advantage over other insecticides as they may be applied to any place where the application of other insecticides is either an impossibility or it is not desirable. The degree of protection with repellents to living plants, operator, animals, and manufacturer materials is much greater than with other insecticides. They do not kill the insects and therefore do not disrupt the ecosystem or food chain. They are specific and safe to non-target organisms. Disadvantages. They cannot be used as sole control measures and can only be used as a component in IPM. 2 may cause local skin reactions. These include rashes, irritation, burning on skin. These reactions usually occur with repeated DEET application.